As Tim drives home, he cannot help but feel a bit unsettled. He tries to shake off the feeling, but it seems to cling to him. He laughs and says to himself, well, it is Halloween and we all deserve a little scare, I guess. He really enjoyed the party and it was nice to see everyone again. As he drives, he notices just how dark it was that night. The moon is hidden by dark clouds and the only light comes from his headlights. Tim turns up the radio, hoping for some distraction, but even the music cannot chase away this eerie feeling. Tim's heart sinks as he feels his car start to sputter. He knows he should have filled up after leaving the party, but he had been in such a hurry to get home. Now he is stuck on this dark and stormy night with very little cell service, and his home still miles away. The wind howls through the trees and Tim shivers as he paces back and forth, desperately trying to catch a signal. He climbs up a slight hill to the tree line, hoping to find better reception. Finally, he catches a break and calls for a tow truck to bring him some gas. As he waits for help to arrive, that eerie feeling begins to grow even stronger. Sometimes we all get that feeling that something really bad is about to happen. And then all of a sudden, Tim begins to hear a rustle behind him in the woods. Nervously, he runs to his car and locks the doors. As he looks out the window from where he just came, he sees children begin to emerge from the tree line. One after another, these children begin walking out of the woods. As the final child steps out of the woods, they all begin to walk towards his car. As they get closer, Tim notices something truly terrifying. He can see that none of the children have eyes. Where their eye sockets should have been are just black voids that look like tar. These children with black eyes surround Tim's broken down car. One of the little girls walks to his window and begins tapping. Tim thinks she wants him to roll down the window, but as he reaches for the button, he realizes that would be a mistake. The girl stands there motionless, her hand still tapping on the glass. Terrified, Tim closes his eyes. He could see that the little girl tapping on his window is not wearing a costume. Something truly sinister is outside his car. Tim's heart nearly stopped when he heard the little girl's voice. He slowly turned around, and sure enough, there was a little girl standing there at his driver's side window. Tim could feel the hair on the back of his neck stand up as he realized that these children were not human. The little girl took a step closer to the car and said as innocently as she could, "Please, mister, please help us. We're lost and there has been a terrible accident." Slowly, Tim looked forward again. He has been broken down on the side of the road for what felt like hours, and the children had begun circling his car like vultures. The little girl spoke again, and this time she pleaded with Tim to let them in. Then out of nowhere, the little girl began to laugh with a frightening demonic laugh that would have cut through anyone's soul. She hit his window with force and demanded he let her in the car. The other children joined in, hitting the car and screaming for Tim to let them in. The children were hitting Tim's car hard, wildly screaming and laughing with each blow. These little black-eyed monsters were taunting him and taking great joy in his terror. Tim tried desperately to start his car, but it was useless. This filled the children with even more rage as they began hitting the car with more force, swearing viciously with words no child should know. As they were banging on the car, Tim did everything he could to keep his eyes closed and remain calm. He knew that if he looked at them, he would be even more scared than he was right now. Each time they hit his car, he screamed and gripped the steering wheel tighter, but he didn't look. All of a sudden, the banging stopped and Tim dared to open his eyes. Tim could see the light of the tow truck through the trees as it rounded the corner. The driver parked behind Tim and got out to assess the situation. Once the tow truck arrived, the children were nowhere to be seen. Tim was relieved to see the driver as he would finally be able to get away from this place. The tow truck driver took one look at Tim and said, "Mister, are you okay? It looks like you had just seen a ghost." Tim got out of his car, pale as a sheet. He looked around for the children who were gathered around his car, but they were gone. The tow truck driver looked at Tim's car and then at Tim and asked, "What in the world happened to your car?" Tim could see the fear building in the man's eyes. He shook his head, not wanting to believe it himself. "I don't know," he lied. The truth was too unbelievable, even for him. As Tim drove away from the tow truck, he could see the children on the road staring at him in his rearview mirror. He could feel a chill run down his spine and decides to drive home as fast as he can. Once he's safely inside, he locks all the doors and windows, making sure that no one can get in. He knows it won't be long before those children come for him now.